Okay, this is the PowerPoint I worked out in class on similar figures, so if you follow through with it and watch the video, you should have no problems getting through the assignment and the quiz. So basically, similar figures. Here's an example of similar figures in nature. They are octahedrofluorite, and it's a crystal. It grows in the shape of an octahedron. Since it starts with octa, that means it's 8-sided. And it has 8 triangular faces. The triangles are in different sizes, but they are proportional, so they are similar figures no matter what size of the octahedrofluorite. When you see this little tilde sign right here, it's like a little squiggly line, it means that two figures are similar. So if we look at the example I have below, I have the first triangle ABC and the second triangle DEF. And when I state it as triangle ABC, little squiggly line, triangle DEF, it's telling you and naming that those figures are similar. So whenever you figure out that two triangles or two quadrilaterals or anything are similar, this is how you would express it on your paper. You would put the little symbol here and the letters of the triangle or quadrilateral in alphabetical order with the little sign. And then here you would also put it in the same order that they match. So you want to match up those corresponding angles. So matching two or more sides of a polygon are called corresponding sides. If you notice that in the pink, that's your corresponding sides. Okay, so my corresponding sides right here are AB and DE. That's because they're the same side of the triangle, and that's what you want to try to match up proportionally. The matching angles are called corresponding angles right here. So you want to look at angle C right here, which is 55 degrees, and angle F over here, which is 55 degrees, because they're the same angle in the same place and they're the same degrees. That makes them correspond. Okay, similar figures. Here's the formal definition. Two figures are similar if the measures of their corresponding angles are equal or congruent. They have to be exactly the same when you match up those corresponding angles. And the ratios of the lengths of the corresponding sides are proportional. So that's why it's important to know about those corresponding angles and corresponding angles. We have to match them up to see if they're going to be proportional or not. So how do I name the side of a figure? Well, notice right here I have a little bar above the AB, and that tells me side AB. Otherwise, it just indicates the length of the side. So when you're showing me those corresponding sides, that's how you have to signify it with this little bar up here on top. Okay, so we're going to identify the corresponding sides in this pair of triangles, and then we're going to use ratios to determine whether the triangles are similar or not. So we're going to start off right here, and we're going to see that AB corresponds to ED. Let's look at it right here, AB and DE. So notice they're not side by side in perfect sequence. So you're going to have to really watch and see how are the angle at the figures oriented to make sure that you match up those corresponding angles and sides. Okay, so BC corresponds to EF, so that would be BC right here, and EF is up here on top. Of course, also looking at it, if you look at A, B, C, D, E, F, so the orientation of the letters, they are going to be in alphabetical order, and that will also help you match up the sides. Okay, let's determine if the ratios are proportional. Well, if we make our ratios here, so AB to ED is 4:16, BC to EF is 7:28, and AC to DF is 10:40. Well, notice all these ratios simplified in 1/4, so they're equal, so that makes it proportional. So when we're trying to figure out if two figures are similar, there's two questions you should ask yourself. Are the angles equal? Remember I talked to you about being in alphabetical order? Well, let's look. Okay, so I've got MNOP and QRST. So M and Q should match, N and R should match, P and T should match, and O and S should match. And if you look at the two figures, they match. The angles match, the figures look like they're the same. So we are going to move on to those sides. Are they proportional? We're going to take those same sides, remember, alphabetically. So MN to QR, that's 60 over 240. NO to RS, that's 80 over 320. PO to TS, that's going to be 47.5 to 190. And then MP to QT, which is 100 over 400. Now, these are all proportional sides. Even the 47.5 to 190, it simplifies down to 1/4. So all the ratios of the correspondings are equal and they are proportional. Okay, so let's look here. We have two triangles that are back to back, so it looks like it's been flipped or reflected. So we're going to look, are the angles proportional? Well, let's see. NOP, QRS. So N and Q, yes. O and R, yes. P and S, yes. So we move on to see if the sides are proportional. So we've got 4 to 8, 7 to 14, and 6 to 12, matching them up alphabetically. They all simplify to 1/2, so the ratios are equal, which makes the sides proportional. Okay, let's look at this one. Remember the two questions? The first one is, are the angles equal? Well, let's look at this. So it looks like this one's flipped a little bit. It's rotated. So there's no letters here, but if I look at the point right here, that looks like a pretty good place to start. We've got 55 and 38. Oh, wait a minute. There's a problem right there. The angles aren't equal, are they? So you're done. The two figures are not similar because your angles are not equal. All right, now you should be able to do your assignment and quiz. Have a great day.